Today we're going to dive into an idea that isn't really about technology, not at its core. It's about a fundamental shift in the rules of our world. We're talking about the physics of intelligence.
It all kicks off with a number, 200,000. That's how many years our species, Homo sapiens, has been around. And for that entire time, we've held an undisputed monopoly on this planet.
A monopoly on what, you ask? On intelligence. That was our superpower, right? We weren't the fastest creatures, not by a long shot. We certainly weren't the strongest. But we were, without any question, the smartest.
And that monopoly, that fact that high-level intelligence was so rare, that's what gave it all its value. It's the foundation on which we built, well, pretty much everything.
See, our superpower wasn't about brute force. It was the ability to think ahead, to reason, to strategize, to imagine different futures, and then actually build one of them. That's the lever we used to, take over the entire planet.
And because our intelligence was tied directly to our biology, it was inherently scarce. I mean, just think about it. It takes 20+ years to train an engineer. It takes a whole lifetime to create a master surgeon. Our entire economy, our whole civilization, even our sense of self-worth was built around rewarding this incredibly rare and valuable resource.
And then, after 200,000 years of the same rules, the monopoly ended. It didn't just fade out, it shattered. And it happened in what is, evolutionarily speaking, the blink of an eye.
So this is the part that is absolutely crucial to understand. We can't think of AI as just another tech trend. It's not the next smartphone. This is something so much more profound. It's as if the law of gravity just changed overnight.
Which brings us to the core idea here. We've entered a new era with a totally new physics of intelligence. We are moving from a universe where intelligence was the scarcest thing around to one where it's becoming abundant.
Here's what that shift looks like side by side. In the old physics, intelligence was scarce, it was biological, and it was really expensive to create. In the new physics, it's becoming abundant, it's silicon-based, and it's getting cheaper by the day. The very nature of our most valuable resource is being completely rewritten.
So what happens when a fundamental law of your world just changes? Well, reality itself starts to feel like it's breaking. It creates this deep sense of disorientation, and it forces us to ask some really uncomfortable questions.
Like, what's the value of spending a fortune and years of your life on a degree when a machine can ace that final exam in just a few seconds?
And what about our whole idea of the struggle? The all-nighter, the years of practice. What does all that effort even mean when a perfect result can be generated instantly?
And maybe the most personal one of all, what happens to our identity, to our very ego, when we have to accept that we are no longer the smartest entity in the room?
This deep disorientation, it forces us towards a completely new way of thinking about what's valuable. And it leads to a pretty startling conclusion. In this new world, humanity itself might just become a luxury.
The old system, the old hierarchy of value we've lived by for centuries, it's collapsing. This whole idea of rewarding people just for their ability to process information, for basically being human calculators, that's becoming obsolete. Fast. But as that old order crumbles, a new one is starting to take its place. A new hierarchy of what truly matters is beginning to form right before our eyes.
And it all comes down to this one single powerful idea. When intelligence becomes a commodity, humanity becomes a luxury. Think about that. When raw brain power is cheap and everywhere, like electricity, the things that suddenly become rare and incredibly valuable are the things that are still uniquely human.
Now let's be clear, this isn't a story about the apocalypse. It's a story about a profound transformation. A world with abundant intelligence doesn't make humans useless, it challenges us to become more human. Our value shifts from what we can calculate to how we can connect, from the data we can process to the wisdom we can offer. So, here we are. We're all living in this new reality, governed by the new physics of intelligence. And the only question that really matters, the one that this whole thing leaves us with, is, where do we fit in?